Hello and welcome to the Large and Unnecessary First Player Token Podcast, episode 41. I always start laughing when I do that because you start nodding your head. You're like, yeah, we're going now, we're going.
No, because it's always the same way you say it. It's like pre-recorded. In fact, this actually is pre-recorded. That's a bit of a secret. We start with that.
Well, of course it's pre-recorded. It's a podcast, it's not live.
No, I don't know, I feel quite live just now.
You look quite alive.
Thank you.
So introductions, my name is Chris.
And I'm Euan.
No, you're not.
Okay, I'm not.
Right, you're Pawel.
Yeah.
Euan's not here tonight. But he might turn up about halfway through the podcast. We've had to get started without him because Pawel's in a hurry to get home to play the first game that we're about to talk about.
I've been forced to come here, even though I really wanted to just keep playing. But Chris said I have to be here, so. Instead, we're going to talk about the game I want to play.
Well, see, I wanted to be playing it as well, but I kept falling asleep. It's not anything to do with the game, it's just because I just sleep
sounds
weird.
like it must be the most boring game ever.
It's not. I can assure you it's nothing to do with the game. Well, we'll just get started. This is a video games episode. Okay, so it's an odd-numbered episode, it's a video games episode. That's how we work things now.
It makes perfect sense.
So let's just get straight into this. We'll talk about the big game this week, the big game that's out. Come on, Pawel.
It's Horizon Zero Dawn. Zero is not an odd number, that's an even number.
Yeah, episode 41's an odd number, right?
So, here's the first question I have. It's an open question, really.
Okay.
Why Horizon, why Zero, and why Dawn? I've been playing this game for a bit, and I have no indication what the title means whatsoever.
Well, me neither.
Okay.
So far, I've seen nothing that would even explain any of that. I don't know. Take a guess then. Let's look at this logically. What does this mean? Horizon Zero Dawn.
I'm gonna say somewhere there's gonna be a reset. Yes, let's reset the life cycle of the planet or something like that.
So that there will be no dawn.
No, as in Zero Dawn, as in the first dawn of whatever new
dawn
life on
zero.
the planet. Yeah.
Right. Would it not be dawn number 1?
That would just sound strange. Horizon.
One dawn.
But why Horizon then? Apart from the fact that vistas in this game are absolutely stunning.
Well, yeah. But Horizon can mean, let's look at it. Like something far away that you never actually reach.
Okay, so we're talking very good resolution.
Right. I mean, I was talking more sort of like, not literally.
Not graphic fidelity.
Yeah. Okay, nothing to do with graphics or anything like that.
Yes, okay.
It's talking more from an artistic sense.
No, fair enough. Yes, why not?
Metaphorical.
Oof, this is getting heavy now. We should probably mention that this game is actually an RPG shooter.
Yeah. But let's actually talk about what the game is instead of arguing over what the name means. Although one thing that does annoy me about the name is that there's no colon in it. So there's no Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah. It's just Horizon Zero Dawn, like it's one sentence, which is really.
I've not noticed that.
Yeah,
I presumed there would be. You're right.
I assumed that there was as well, and then I looked it up and I was like, no, it's not. It's just one. It's one thing. There's no colon in it.
We can officially assume that, admit that it bothers us.
I thought, you know what? I'm just going to assume that they opened up a dictionary and picked 3 random words. All right, that's what I'm going to assume from now on.
Okay, that's a good way to come up with a title.
Okay, Pawel, we have both been playing this game.
Yes,
okay?
But some of us played it whilst not sleeping.
Yes, I tried to play it yesterday when it came out. I tried to play it today, and I was just so tired from work that I ended up just dozing off. And like I say, it's nothing to do with the game because I've been really enjoying the game. But you've done much more in this game than I have, so I'm going to let you talk about it because you took a day off work.
Yes,
to play this game.
I'm committed to this podcast, Chris. This is all about me
no,
delivering content.
You're committed to yourself, man. Don't even pretend that you did this for the podcast.
At least I've tried.
This is basically a form of masturbation, what you were doing.
I've started as a young boy, yeah? Playing video games, I mean. So I got the game yesterday, and I did sleep at some point, but it was really all about gameplay. Horizon Zero Dawn is a third-person perspective shooter / action game with some RPG elements.
Is it a shooter? I wouldn't call it a shooter. I mean, shooter makes you think about, the Division and stuff like that. I wouldn't call it a shooter. Yes, there is shooting in it. There's a lot of bow and arrow work in it, but I don't know if I would call it a shooter.
I
think
shall we
you
call
were
it just
playing
an action game?
This is an action RPG. That's what I would describe this as. I wouldn't call it a shooter.
That makes sense. The reason why I keep saying shooter is simply because
you shoot things a lot.
There's been plenty of bow and arrow action in action games recently, whether it's Lara Croft running around or a couple of different other games. Some games do it better, some games do it worse, but this game is doing it amazingly. And and that's why I probably mentioned shooter, because I like to think that people that pick up shooters probably have nothing better to do in video games than just shooting. I'm
quite happy to offend those people on this podcast, so yeah, okay, I'll go on with that.
Whereas, there you go, Horizon Zero Dawn has got a lot more to offer, but at the core of it, it's got immensely satisfying combat. Not only shooting, and in fact, I shouldn't probably go that far yet and start from the beginning, but I'm just gonna say you're right, it's not a shooter, because if you just rely on shooting somebody in the eye or in the flashlight, as those machines have, then you're missing out on all the fun, because you have so many tools at your disposal and the combat is so varied.
Right, so, well, you've just flagged up some words there that people that don't know about this game will be like, what? So, you need to explain the setting of this
Right,
thing.
So welcome to perhaps 22nd century, or maybe 32nd, we don't know yet.
We do not know.
We know that the world ended at some point, probably at the end of the 21st century, and then stuff happened. So what you are, instead of being a 21st century or a person living nowadays.
21st century.
That's a proper noun. Instead, you're a savage, literally, I suppose. You're a tribal person. You belong to a tribe called Nora, the Nora, I think, which is a matriarchal tribe of hunters and gatherers.
I mean, you say you belong to that tribe, so you're playing as a girl called Aloy.
Which Chris has just reliably informed me comes from the word alloy.
Alloy, yeah.
And you're not really father, but rather...
your sort of mentor and your
guardian.
Your guardian, basically, who's a guy called Rost.
Which, in Scottish, means rust.
I've never heard a Scottish person say Rost.
Okay.
My car's a bit rusty.
I'm sure it would happen someplace in this country.
So basically what we've got here, we've got human beings are now living in tribes in the far future.
And it's post-apocalypse.
It's kind of post-apocalyptic. Yeah. It's not like post-apocalyptic in the Fallout sense.
It's not Fallout, it's not Mad Max.
Nuclear war or anything.
Add another couple hundred years when everything is starting to, start anew, yeah?
Yeah, so... Yeah, and there's machines about the place, so there's robots and stuff like that.
But the robots that are trying, essentially, for some reason, and I'm assuming, and in fact, yeah, it does look like the game will at some point explain it to us, they're trying to mimic life.
Yeah.
And although the... I'm going to say all the... advertisements and other sorts of imagery from the game... keep saying or showing us dinosaurs. They not really all of them. It's quite a lot of different stuff. Some of these machines don't really resemble any animals whereas others are clearly based on an animal type and animal behavior type even.
So you've got things that look like cows or zebras or something which are grazing on the grass.
Those are striders, and they essentially acting like wild horses, I suppose.
Yeah. And then you've got other things like Watchers?
You've got Watchers, and those are bipedal, small. In fact, the smallest probably machines you're gonna encounter.
They're like raptors, aren't they?
They sort of like raptors, but obviously, I mean, they the least dangerous machines you might encounter. They're quite inquisitive, so they're usually the first enemies you get to fight wherever, but they're almost one-shot enemies anyway. Yes, but then you also have, I think there's going to be maybe 30 different types of machines. If you have a look in the encyclopedia available somewhere in the options, so it's a large variety, and then without spoiling it, there's gonna be varieties, or let's say added elements to the machine types you've already encountered, which will diversify them further. So that's a lot. And this is one of the biggest appeals of the game, but there's so many other layers there. These machines are really well designed. They look really cool with the flashlights. That myself being a Mass Effect person, I keep thinking about the Geth that also used to have a big flashlight instead of a face. All these machines have that as well, and they are those let's say flashlight faces change colors depending on their alertness status, from blue when they're just grazing or walking about, to yellow when you've alerted them, to red when they actually in combat mode.
So it's a pretty weird setting, because you've basically got this big green area where like there is not really any massive amounts of human civilization anymore.
Mother's Cradle.
Mother's Cradle, yeah.
Oh no,
but you've also got all these robots wandering about doing animal things. And you can hunt them and you can take their resources and stuff like that. I mean, I came up with a term for it.
Yeah, because I was going. Oh, you came with the term for the actual setting.
Yes,
that's a good one.
I came up with a name for the genre. I'm going with tribal punk for this,
and I absolutely love it, because if you've got bloody cyberpunk, if you've got steampunk, if you've got diesel punk,
sea punk,
yes, why not? Then this, by all means,
must be tribal punk.
Is a tribal punk, and you play it the way they present you that setting. From the very beginning, you feel that it's just consistent. You know, they've put a lot of thought and material into world building. You get, especially during the first major quest line, and really the first stage of the game, which is the Proving Ritual. You'll get to learn a lot about the world, other tribes, quite a lot about the history of this world, and you realize, you know what, this is not what you expect from the game. I must say, I must really admit, even though I was very excited for this game, it easily exceeded my expectations, simply because I expected it to be a bow and arrow action against robotic dinosaurs, and this game is so much more. I mean, and I'm not just saying this because you can also fight humans and an actual organic wildlife, because you can shoot at just about anything that moves, but it's a proper AAA beginning of what I think is going to be a very successful franchise, which is also important nowadays. People don't. Oh, sorry, I should say.
Do you think there's going to be offshoots on this game?
Absolutely.
You think so?
I think this game is going to be very successful, and it's showing signs of success already.
I mean, it's had ridiculous reviews.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Some of the reviewers, it's been way up at the top end, like quite comfortably.
But you know, it's just the depth of what they've prepared. As soon as you start playing it, you realize you thought it's actually about tribesmen and savages fighting dinosaurs. It's so much more. I don't want to spoil it, but you quickly realize how much more there is out there waiting for you.
Yeah.
But sorry, just so coming back, because we should probably mention this. Your character, Aloy, yes, is an outsider. She's been expelled from the tribe for a crime she never committed. Her mother instead must have committed some sort of crime, or so you're made to think as a player at the beginning of the game. You have a protector and guardian named Rost, who is also an outcast. And this aspect of your character and this small family you're part of is very important to your character and to the early time in the game. Most of the I'm saying most of the decisions your character makes or you make when you're in his shoes are seen through that filter. All the NPCs you get to meet will usually either treat you as an outcast, or if not, then they will have to have a reason for that.
Yeah.
This is essentially just the Nora tribe, the tribe you sort of never belonged to, but your guardian have, and the tribe on which lands you live, although you're never admitted into the actual Nora villages because you're an outcast. You want to, or Aloy wants to rejoin or become a member of the tribe, not necessarily because she really wants to be one of them, because she's got quite a temper, and it's a very well designed character, but
she wants to find out who her mother is.
She wants answers, yeah.
She wants answers, aye.
And the tribe is ruled by a council of high matriarchs who, if she wins the ritual of proving, which is essentially a come-to-age ritual for young hunters. So we've seen it in various other settings, from, I don't know, Avatar, James Cameron's Avatar, to various offshoots of Game of Thrones, I suppose. It has a familiar sort of... I think I've recently seen something like this in a very MTV series called something Shannara. I can't remember. Fantasy TV series about elves and stuff like that.
Who knows? You're asking the wrong person.
It's always the same thing. You've got your late teenagers running some sort of gauntlet and trying to be the best. Aloy needs to be the best in order to become the brave, and by the brave I mean the what you call it, like Indians had braves, so not just warriors, but whatever,
like protectors and heroes and champions of the village, basically.
She needs to become one of the village braves and also be the best in order to actually, by tradition, force the matriarchs to give her answers. And that's the premise of the game. And then things quickly escalate, and this is where we can't really spoil it. And I don't want to spoil it for Chris either, because he's not reached that stage yet.
I'm a little bit behind you. I don't think I'm that far behind you, but I'm a little bit behind you. I'll have to say, though, that Aloy she is the gingerest protagonist I've ever seen.
Yeah.
She would not look out of place walking down the street in Aberdeen.
True, but this game, as far as character design goes, is all about diversity. You're not gonna have a haircut you would see on the streets of just about any city. You're gonna have the weirdest possible mohawks and dreadlocks and things like this. Aloy, by comparison, is fairly normal, although very ginger indeed.
She is very ginger.
Yes, true.
She has the pale skin to go with it as well.
She does, but you know what? She's got interesting face, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
If you look at character designs nowadays, you can see where there's been a lot of work put in an effort to make somebody look realistic and original, not just generic,
not just like they've tried to make a pretty face.
Yeah, exactly. And Aloy is one of those, and you can see how well the actual, what's the word, animatron? No, basically the way her animations work and the way it's all been recorded. That's brilliant. And knowing that Mass Effect is going to be slightly worse in this department makes me all jealous.
You can see, like, with Aloy, like, she has her own mannerisms and stuff like that. The way her head moves when she's speaking and things like that is completely different from everybody else.
Yeah.
So you feel like she's like a unique sort of character because of these kind of little things that they've done with her.
I mean, obviously, this has been done the proper Avatar / Lord of the Ring kind of way, where they had actors wearing all the required dots and recording this properly. So we live in exciting times for realistic character presentation in video games when you've got enough money, time, and resources to do it right. And I suppose commitment as well, because again, this game shows all the facets of a like a proper gaming masterpiece. I mean, all those reviews are saying brilliant, and you feel it. It's not one of those games when you start playing it and you immediately see where the corner's been cut and where the texture's not loaded and where...
Texture not found is my favourite texture.
Exactly. Now, this game immediately just sucks you into the world, and as I said, even though it's a rich storyline, it's a rich world that you're presented with, and you really want to learn more. The simplest gameplay mechanics just work so well. You're gonna, that's not a big spoiler because you've seen it on the posters, you're gonna at some point be able to tame some of the machines. And, it's a simple thing, but I remember, horseback riding and Red Dead Redemption, thank you. Even Witcher 3, which is one of the best games ever. And it's not an easy thing to do horseback riding well and funny and playable. And in this game, it just works really well. But it's combat that really shines here so well. Because once you master just a simple bow and arrow action, and it's already pretty cool. Because every enemy is actually quite dangerous if you don't focus on its weak spots.
Yeah.
And all these enemies can be really aggressive or very shy and just try and run away from you, which makes you feel like a hunter and not like a, character in any generic let's shoot some aliens kind of game. But there's so many toys you get, so many different tactical traps really you can set.
Like wire traps and stuff.
Yeah, wire traps.
These kind of things.
But there's multiple ways of doing this as well.
Yep.
Again, I don't want to spoil it. If you're looking for gameplay richness, then this game gives it and plenty of it. And then you just add to things. Aloy is wearing this little trinket on her, and this is again not really a spoiler because
I wasn't going to spoil that bit, Pavel. Let's not spoil that bit. She gets some sort of little toy thing.
But in third minute of the game.
Yeah. But
right,
let's let people discover that one for themselves. But that's what gives her an edge. That's what gives Aloy an edge in just about everything that she does.
And it also this was the moment when I thought, oh my god, this game is not what I thought. This is so much cooler than what I expected it to be.
Especially the place that you find that in. Everything that goes on in that place is kind of bizarre.
Yeah.
And it does start throwing up a load of question marks.
Yeah. And whereas those early, I'm gonna say, bits of information about the past are fairly vague still and more emotional than actually loaded with actual data. And the open world, and this game is very much open world, you're gonna eventually start finding, I'm gonna say more concrete information about how exactly the world came to be, how it is. It's pretty cool as well. And you don't feel it often in video games. You may play Skyrim and you may collect all the books just because you want to put them on the bookshelf in one of your houses. And
you did that.
Yeah, well, obviously. And cheese.
Oh no, you make a cheese waterfall.
True, yes. And you might even read some of them. But this world makes you, maybe because this is a new franchise and maybe because it's just been so well designed, it makes you want to know more about what happened. And they're starting to show you that as you play along. So I'm out of here in a moment, and I'm heading back home to play it some more.
Well, let's wrap this one up then, because we've talked about that quite a bit. Even though we've barely scratched the surface of this game. Let's face it. There's so much more to this game you can already tell, and we haven't discovered it yet.
Oh yeah.
So we'll come back to that in a couple of weeks' time or so, without trying to spoil the game, but we'll just give an update on how far we are through. I'm now in direct competition with Pawel to get further through the game.
It shouldn't be difficult because I'm actually at work tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I've got a job as well.
Yeah, but you don't sleep.
That's true, I don't. I sleep at weird times. Right, so that's Horizon Zero Dawn with no colon, which came out yesterday, the 1st of March. We're recording on the 2nd. And that's by Guerrilla Games.
Yes.
What else have they done?
They've done something, definitely.
They've definitely done something.
I've played something they've done, because the name sounds familiar.
Killzone.
There you go! Now, I'm a PS4 person nowadays, but I used to have an Xbox in the past, and actually I've played some Killzones on PlayStations as well.
I've never played any of them. There's a few Killzone games I've never played.
Yeah.
So that's PS4 only. Horizon Zero Dawn. So.
And you know what? Well done.
Yeah, well done, Sony. You've done something good there. Okay, let's move on. Right. Oh, Pawel, can we talk about a Tom Clancy game?
Okay, let's.
Now this is your fault.
I'm sorry.
This is your fault. When Pawel was round,
I'm sorry.
the other week there to do our board games episode, he put my PlayStation on and downloaded the open beta for Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands.
And I was like, Chris, there's a beta.
Yeah.
You have to play it. It's not a Tom Clancy game.
Pawel's a beta man. Like, he definitely... You're a beta male.
I'm not an alpha male, no.
You just get every beta thing that's going.
If there was an omega, I would go for that. But there's beta tests, so I'm happy. Yes, I admit. I do like my betas. In fact, I've played so much For Honor beta that I can't even play the live version anymore. I've already depleted it.
So, yeah. So I turned on my PlayStation one day and found that this Tom Clancy game was sitting there and that the beta was open, so I thought, why not? I'll turn it on. Because, I mean, The Division was... I had a bit of a weird relationship with The Division where I started off like not really sure about it to really enjoying it for a while, and then being not really sure about it again after. Like, once you get to a certain point in it, it just feels like it just gets stupid.
I went through the entire Division before the expansions came out, and quite enjoyed it. Enjoyed the Dark Zone for a bit until I think it's always the PvP thing that gets me in the end.
Just gets a bit annoying.
If I get bullied by a gang of 5 players running around and just
that's not fun.
I just leave the Dark Zone, realize there is no more solo content. Bye.
So. Because of my weird relationship with The Division, I wasn't really sure about this, but I thought, well, I'll fire it up and I'll play it. Now, I'm going to have my tongue firmly in my cheek for a lot of this review, but don't get me wrong, I've actually enjoyed this beta. Like, so much so that I did everything that you possibly could in it before the beta ended.
And that's definitely more than I did, because I've actually started it up solo. And immediately realized these people are talking like they're serious. Oh my god, this game is tactical. Oh my god, this is a Tom Clancy game.
You didn't realise it was a Tom Clancy game at first, did you? That's the only reason that you put it on my PlayStation. Right. So what this game essentially is, now, obviously I'm only talking about the beta here, but I get the feeling the beta is not going to be probably any different from the actual full game, other than that you were just limited to 2 zones in the beta.
More content.
Now, this is basically you're playing as part of a US elite team from the army, which, goes to save Bolivia from itself. Now, if I was working on the Bolivian tourist board, alright, I would be most unhappy about this game. Like, the way it presents Bolivia. Now, I'm not saying that Bolivia, I don't know a lot about Bolivia. I know it has its problems, alright? I know it has its problems. But basically what they've presented Bolivia as here is just like a cartel-run country which is controlling the government, who are quite happy with this arrangement. Like, the government have attempted to do something about the cartel and then went, you know what, it's easier if we just work with them. So, this is all about, like, a drugs cartel who are just exploiting people. And the Americans are here to save Bolivia from itself, because that's what America does.
That's what they do, the big
America's
white hunters.
Foreign policy is to save countries from themselves.
Yeah, well, you would wonder who made this game?
Tom Clancy.
Yeah. So,
this is an Ubisoft game,
you
isn't
wonder
it?
if Ubisoft actually pays damages to Bolivia for a game like this.
It's just a very, very strange premise, this, right? Okay, so essentially you're sent in to deal with this cartel, okay, and you meet up with some guy who is the only resistance against both the government and the cartel, and him and his team. So you basically go in, you do a mission for this guy, and then you're free to do what you want after that, because it's an open world, this game. But it's a squad-based tactical shooter. So if you're playing it single player, you've got a team of 3 AI-controlled guys, but you can just, like, invite random people to just join your game. You can open your game up for random people. They'll just join in. As soon as that happens, as soon as one person comes in, your AI team disappears. Although, annoyingly, they still keep talking to you as if they're right next to you.
I know, because...
And they're annoying.
I tried as hard as I could to order them to stay put, whereas I would take a car and drive elsewhere.
Oh, yeah, but then you hear them in your walkie-talkie thing, don't you?
Yes.
They're just like, oh, for fuck. Anyway... So it's been more fun for me playing this with other people, right? Now I've been playing it with a couple of mates. So we've had this little squad. Now it's got all these sort of open world mechanics. So you're running about in Bolivia, sort of like doing quests for, I don't know, whoever these resistance people are, probably. I didn't really pay too much attention to what the hell was going on, to be honest. It was just a case, you got a quest, you have to go here and kill some guys, basically.
That sounds like Bolivia to me, yeah.
Maybe pull some switches or blow up something or something like that. But it's, it's a Tom Clancy game. You're going to be running about shooting people in the face. Alright, shooting the bad guys in the face.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
But it's got these open world mechanics, so it's got like all that sort of GTA style, like stealing an innocent person's car in the name of freedom. And just all that kind of thing that's going on. So you can get helicopters and stuff, you can parachute out of them to go and get to your objective and things like that. Great fun, just parachuting about the place, stealing a helicopter, going up as high as you can, just jumping out. Especially when you're playing with your friends and the last thing that they want is for you to jump out the helicopter. You will anyway,
No, I suppose I would, yeah, that makes sense.
So there's story quests that lead to bosses in the cartel, so you'll fight a boss, you'll, shoot him in the face, him or her, and then killing bosses opens new map areas, basically. But there's various side quests. You do side quests, you get resources. These resources are used to level up your character, but you need ability points to level up your character too. But there's a lot of actually interesting things in the skill tree. One of the most interesting things about this game is the drones. Did you play with the drones a lot, Pawel?
Yeah, I've been playing around with the controller, and suddenly I lost the sight of my character.
You launched the drone in there.
Yes, instead I was a drone. I wasn't exactly sure what to do. I flew around a bit.
Well,
and I drove away.
The drones are good. Like, if you're going to play this game, I would recommend leveling up your drones, because what you can do is you can be hiding behind a building or something. You can send your drone up in the air, and you can control the drone while it's there. So you're basically seeing it from the drone's point of view, and you can look straight at the bad guys, and it tags them. So, and when they're tagged,
I've only tried to land on one guy's
head. Yeah, you've got to try and land on somebody's face, but then they see your drone and they get alerted. So you want to keep your drone away from people. But it tags them all, so you basically want to send your drone around, and it's got a limited battery. You can level up the battery. It's got limited range. You can level that up as well. Various other things that you can level up for it. For example, the area that it tags people in will get wider as you level up and all that kind of thing. But that's like one of the coolest things about this game, I think. Is just sending that drone up in and tagging all these guys, and then when you go back to your thing, you can see where these people are through the walls and stuff like that. So you know exactly, you can start making plans about how you're going to deal with all these guys. The sniper that's up in the tower, take him out first, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I suppose that the biggest thing about this game, or at least something you're supposed to do or expected to do, is tactical planning and and coordinated resolution. So here is my question, because I played the solo thing, so maybe it looked different. Do you remember the first mission at all?
Vaguely.
It was about killing a guy. He had some bodyguards, some other, I suppose, narco soldiers running around.
Yeah.
Or actually not running around, just walking about in a village. The reason why I haven't really played much beyond that was because I felt that the game is all about setting up a very stealthy approach. Whereas I literally walked over, sat in the bushes, headshot 5 people, and there was nothing else to do. And I had 3 other AI controlled characters, all being very serious about a tactical situation, whereas to me was just like, I literally pulled the trigger and enemy was dead. Is that the mission I'm supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think that first mission was basically just introducing you to how the game works.
Okay.
But there are big bases and stuff like that you might have to go and do missions in. You might have to visit them several times if you want to go back and pick certain things up. Because, like I say, you can pick up resources as you go around. You can find things like skill points, actually just little medals that are lying about the place. Right. There's always some sarcastic comment about the medals when your character picks them up. It's like, oh, this came out of a cereal packet or something like that.
Yes.
Just like,
the good old democratic sarcasm.
That's it. Yeah, democratic. So that's a good term, democratic sarcasm. But yeah, when you get these sort of big bases, you do have to think about what you're going to do, and that does. I mean, I don't want to play this game single player with those 3 AI controlled guys, because they just seem like a complete pain in the arse.
They are.
And you have to give them orders. You have to tell them to go and charge in and start firing and stuff like that when things get a bit hairy, but I have enjoyed playing it with other people, and that's the way I would recommend
And
playing.
I guess this game was made with this in mind.
And then you do actually start talking to each other and like coming up with a tactical thing. Although I'm the guy that eventually just gets bored of standing behind a wall and Leroy
Chris is
Jenkins.
the Leroy
I'm
Jenkins
the Leroy
kind of
Jenkins.
guy,
Like I'm the guy that will just run in and start firing at some point because I'm just like, look, fuck this. You've been sitting trying to shoot this guy for 5 minutes and missing every time. I'm just going to run in there with a shotgun and take him out. Like that's me. That's how I play this. I take a direct approach.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for starting a mission stealthily and taking out some guys, but you get to a point where you go, right, that's it, we're going in now. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, that's sort of what I do in Horizon Dawn. I like to stealth around quite a bit, but at some point, everything just turns red. Sorry, no, I shouldn't be talking about Horizon.
Yeah, we've done that bit.
And we've not even mentioned crafting, but it's fine. We'll mention it again.
Oh yeah, there is crafting in Horizon.
Plenty.
There's plenty of crafting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
Time. All right. So yeah, I mean, you're getting everything you expect out of Tom Clancy game. You've got all the different guns, actual guns from real life,
and almost science fiction, but not really, because they're almost possible gadgets.
Yeah,
because that's another, I suppose, trademark of Tom Clancy. Yeah.
Aye. Now they've gone away because I haven't played any of the other Ghost Recon games, but I think the last one was quite futuristic. Like they'd done a bit of a futuristic thing with it, and they've now moved back to sort of modern world. Kind of thing with the sort of military technology, which is all mysterious, but supposed to be like
we have drones. We're amazingly
we've got ridiculous drones that can tag people and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know what else to say about this. The game is actually quite pretty.
It looked alright. I think I saw a comment somewhere saying that the game looks amazing from afar, and the only problem is your immediate surroundings, apparently.
The immediate surroundings are pretty shit.
Yeah.
They're pretty dull. They're pretty dull.
Okay.
But a lot of the sort of background scenery and stuff, the mountains and things like that, like all these South American mountains, those South American mountains. Those types. That's actually really pretty. It's a nice background when you're running about shooting twats in the head.
I suppose you need that.
You need that calming influence to just sort of go, oh, hang on a minute, I probably shouldn't do this. Now, one thing I will say is the game punishes you for killing civilians.
Punishes you how?
It punishes you by, if you're like doing a mission or something like that, and you kill, I think it's 3 or possibly 5 civilians, you will fail the mission.
Oh, it actually fails.
It actually fails the mission and
right.
puts you in, loads you back to the beginning, basically.
Oh, that's pretty severe.
So they're taking their civilians quite seriously in this. So I mean, I was going to say the game's basically like Just Cause for people that want to take their freedom seriously.
But I don't think Just Cause was.
Just Cause was just about in Just Cause there were no repercussions for abusing civilians or anything.
I know, I saw you do things.
But in this game, this is just basically like Just Cause, but you
have to behave.
You have to behave yourself, aye.
All right. Because you represent freedom.
But I mean, you can do a whole lot of stupid things. I mean, I was saying to you earlier that me and my friend had tried. There is a train that goes around up one of these mountains somewhere, and we tried to stop it by piling about 25 to 30 cars up in front of a tunnel. Just civilian cars, we stole these civilians' cars. We needed it for an experiment.
I'm sure the civilians didn't mind that much. Insurance and all.
So we piled all these cars up. Turns out the train is just an unstoppable force, and these cars just went flying. But I mean, that was fun. So if you do like to mess about with these kind of games, that option is there in this game, because it's totally open world. You can do what the hell you like. Once you get past that first mission, you're free to go anywhere you want. So yeah, surprisingly, like I say, I've actually enjoyed this game so much so I'm going to buy it. I was going to pre-order it tomorrow. I'll get paid tomorrow, so I'm going to pre-order it tomorrow because it comes out next week.
All right.
So yeah, that's Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands, which is by Ubisoft Paris.
Recommended for multiplayer.
If you've got some mates that just like to shoot some twats, then yeah, go for it.
If you want to play solo, then just make sure that you've got patience.
You've got patience.
Yeah.
You need patience to play this game solo, because those squad members, they're annoying.
Yeah, because there's so much micromanagement and they just keep talking and they don't necessarily do what you want, or you don't necessarily want them with you to begin with. I felt like I'm just dragging them there. I'd rather just, go... It's... I don't know. I'll try again.
I'm just going to say one thing, actually. Like, I was saying that I'm like the Leroy Jenkins. I'm a bit annoying when I play games with people. I admit I'm a bit annoying. Right, now, when I first started playing this game and those squad members were there, and I was like, those are annoying people, I'm just going to open my game up for other people to join in. So I pressed the buttons to get people to join in. Straight away, a couple of people joined in. As soon as they spawned in front of me, I got in a car and ran them over. And then kicked them from the game, so... Yes.
Oh, no! So yes, please look out for us on various multiplayer matchmaking lobbies. If you actually see first player token personnel, just make sure that
if you see Radio Shed 84 in your Tom Clancy game, stay the fuck away from him, because it's me, and I will probably try and kill you somehow.
Think about all these Tom Clancy fans, all devoted, committed to military tactics.
Sitting wearing their military fatigues while they're playing this game.
Yeah. And suddenly...
Can't go down.
Yep.
There's going to be people out there that do that, isn't there?
Yeah,
There's going to be somebody out there that is a bit worrying psychologically, that's sitting wearing military uniform.
I don't know.
Playing
Yeah,
these games.
I find it that this particular genre, I don't mean shooters as such, but shooters that are trying to be serious and realistic, for some reason they tend to be popular with these types.
Yeah.
Because I've tried a few times.
Well,
I like to take games seriously, but maybe not this particular aspect.
I think we should probably leave that kind of chat to another podcast.
Yes.
Probably one about psychology or something. So let's move on. So I've got one last thing to talk about, which is something that I actually started playing a few weeks ago, and I completely forgot about. Like, I completely forgot to talk about in the podcast.
Yeah, because your VR thing's been just lying there.
It's been lying there since I finished Resident Evil. I haven't actually touched it. But I just want to quickly talk about Riggs, Mechanized Combat League, which is a VR game, PlayStation VR. I'm just checking. I think it did come out on PC, but... Oh no, it was just PlayStation 4, sorry. I do apologise. Must be thinking about something else. So, PS4 only. This is Riggs Mechanized Combat League. It's not what it sounds like. And it also is what it sounds like. Because, yes, you are in a big mech, and you are just stomping about in VR shooting guns at things, but at the same time, it's not just like some team or some deathmatch thing or anything like that. It's like, it has like 3 different game modes, basically, when you start playing. So you're in your big mech, and you're playing one of 3 games. You are playing Team Takedown, which is your team deathmatch, and it's just 4-on-4.
Alright.
Okay, but there's 2 other games. There's Power Slam, which is essentially like mech basketball, where the mechs are the balls, and there's a big hoop somewhere in the middle of the map, and you basically...
So you're Rocket League.
Yeah, you basically have to get into overdrive, and you get into overdrive by killing other mechs and picking up certain pickups, and once you get into overdrive, you jump through this hoop, and you score a point for your team. But there's another one called End Zone, which is actually my personal favourite. It's almost like a sort of reverse capture of the flag, because there's just a ball, and you can run and pick it up, but you don't take it back to your own base, you take it to the other teams.
Alright.
So it's American football, essentially.
Yeah.
And that's why it's called End Zone.
Okay.
You know? And like, if you're blowing each other up, you can like, if you blow somebody up that's got the ball, they'll drop it, you can pick it up, but you can also like slam into them, and if you do that successfully, you steal the ball from them, and all these types of things. Like I say, it's a game that's kind of like hard to describe, other than the fact that you're in a bunch of big mechs. There's 4 different types of mechs, but there's also different brands of those mechs. So you've got, and the different brands have different powers. So your mechs, you've got like, hang on, I've got a list of them here somewhere. Oh yeah, Sentinel, Hunter, Mirage, and Tempest. That's the 4 sort of basic mech types.
Lovely.
And like one of them is like, so you've got ones that are like really big and a bit slower, and you've got like smaller, faster ones. You've got one that can hover and stuff like that. But then, like I say, you've got the different brands. So you've got things like, one of them has like a vampire power. So basically, when they blow something up, they'll steal health. So it's like life leech. So you've got these different
Okay. And can you customize weapons as well?
The different mechs have their own types of weapons. So when you take when you pick like the vampire type, I can't remember what the name of that brand is. So you take the mech with the vampire ability, and you take, I don't know, like the hunter.
Yeah.
That's going to have different weapons from a different brand.
All right, gotcha. So combinations.
So there is different things.
All right.
But you get stuff like it's pretty standard things. It's like, you get a big chain gun, or you've got a thing that's basically like a shotgun or a rocket launcher.
Or a rocket launcher, which is personal favourite.
My personal favourite,
of course.
Love shotgun and rocket launcher. By the way, those are my two favourite types of weapon in like first person shooters. Like I don't go for those medium range weapons. I don't know what it is. I tend to either like getting up close and personal or fucking miles away and just causing as much destruction as possible. But yeah, I mean,
that probably says a lot about your personality.
Oh yeah, it probably does.
We should psychoanalyze you, based on your weapon choice.
I think that might be a harrowing ordeal for whoever's involved psychoanalyzing me. But yeah, so basically you're just you can play the game online, you can play it single player with just some AI teammates, and you play through a league, which is kind of similar to the Rocket League single player. But like I quite like that. I've played mostly just in that single player league mode because I know it's weird.
Yeah,
because
that's unlike you.
You can really manage your team because you can hire other AI things, and some of the AI is better than others, and they come with their own mechs and that kind of thing.
Well, that's definitely better than relying on unreliable humans.
Yeah, but it can be a bit hit or miss. And yeah, you can just sit and like the matches are like they're 10 minutes long or something like that.
Okay, that's not too bad compared to some multiplayer.
They're not making you go through like half an hour of nonsense. Yeah. It's just like 10 minutes and you're done.
Yeah.
And yeah, the game modes are fun. Like, the team takedown is your just, like I say, your basic thing. But the power slam and the end zone thing, they just having those two things in it just totally switch it up. And the matches are random, so you don't know which match you're going to head into until, you're about to start it. And then you can pick your mech depending on what you're playing. And yeah, the league thing, it's like you can unlock new things. So, like, just new costumes for your character and stuff like that. And different types of, like, paint jobs and stuff for your mechs and all that kind of thing.
Alright.
So there's enough there to keep you going, and it is just a fun thing that you can just, if you've got 20 minutes to spare, fire up your PlayStation, stick your VR helmet on, play a
arcadey
match.
Casual stuff.
Yeah, just it's really casual game, I would say. I mean, I don't think there'll be people out there taking it seriously, but I just, casually just jump in, just blow some people up, die myself a few times, have some fun while I'm doing it.
We've said previously that slowly there are games out there, emerging games that, I'd say, make your VR purchase actually worthwhile.
Yes.
Resident Evil was one of them.
Resident Evil was definitely top of the pile.
There's going to be some of those games, especially early games that came out with VR that were just part of the package because something had to be released.
Yeah.
There's going to be games that essentially could be run without any VR whatsoever. Where would you put this one?
Well, this is one of I think this came out the same day that the VR was released, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
It was October the VR was released, I'm sure. And yes, because I think this came out with... So this is basically one of the first ones.
So it's...
And I'd say it's up pretty high for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like it's sort of groundbreaking or anything like that. There's been other games like this, but it's just that, like, the VR thing adds a novelty onto it.
Yeah.
But it's a fun game to play. But like I say, like it's like Resident Evil's a different kettle of fish. That's a very sort of serious, long, sort of single-player campaign thing.
And games where VR is absolutely essential, like the one with the grappling hooks.
Oh yeah,
Windlands. Windlands.
Yeah, that's
not something you would ever be able to make without VR.
Yeah.
But this one, it just
sounds
like...
See, Riggs, you could easily make this game not VR. But it's just the fact having that ability to just look around and pick your targets, because it's another one of those things where you're shooting at what you're looking at. Just adds another layer onto it, sort of thing. Because if they made this game without VR, it probably would have fallen a bit flat. It would just be like, well, it's not anything in particularly special. It's just but it's just because the VR's there, and because you feel like you're inside a mech.
VR makes it cooler.
What's fucking cooler than being inside a mech that's shooting rockets at people?
Well,
I mean, when we played Mech Warrior back in the day.
And we did.
That was like, I mean, if you told me when I was a child, when like
there's gonna be a VR at some point in your life,
there's gonna be a VR version of something like this, I would have been like, what? I probably would have like passed out with excitement. Like,
Yep.
So yeah, Riggs is a fun. It's a fun VR game, and it's casual, and yeah, I just enjoy playing it.
Man,
and mechs are fucking cool.
Waiting for the BattleTech Kickstarter so hard.
You're still going on about that, man.
Still gonna be a good couple months before even better comes out. But yeah, one does like a good mech action. Mech on mech action.
You like some good, some hard mech on mech action.
Yeah.
Whoa, hang on a minute. Right, I've just realised something about Riggs. So Riggs was made by Gorilla Cambridge.
What?
So this is obviously the part of the same company.
Yeah,
that's
it's
made,
gonna be
Horizon Zero Dawn. So there you go.
That's brilliant. And
that-
you're saying Cambridge,
Yeah,
which
so
means
this
they
will
must
their-
be particularly well educated.
Yes. But, it seems that they've got quite a lot of games actually that they've made, including a remake of Frogger on the PlayStation.
Do you think this is like some sort of student branch thing?
Oh, it's possible.
Like we're just let's open an office in Cambridge and just recruit fresh students.
Well, you know, it's probably a good idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't have to go far. We're just over the road.
Yeah, that's cool. Well done, Gorilla.
Right. So I think that's the end of your episode, Pavel. Still no sign of Euan. We thought he might turn up halfway through, but no,
Yeah,
he's not
I'm
here.
disappointed. Euan, honestly, man, where are you? We're worried.
Oh, I've just realised by the time that this episode goes out, the Nintendo Switch will be out.
Aha.
I mean, the Nintendo Switch. What are your feelings on that? When you look at
Okay,
it,
the only Nintendo I ever had was a GameCube.
you only had the GameCube.
I had the GameCube at some point in the past, yes. So, my experience with any portable handheld stuff is virtually non-existent.
Yeah.
Last portable console I played had only two colors on the screen, and it was probably some sort of egg juggling in the 80s or 90s.
So this is little like
Yeah. One of them,
the
yeah.
LCD screen things.
Yeah, exactly.
Not even a Game Boy, just one of those. Yeah,
Oh,
we
way
all
before
had
Game
those
Boy.
when we were kids.
See, if I play a video game, I have to sit down, immerse myself, just do it properly.
You're not one of these play games on a bus type
No.
person,
I've never even downloaded a game on my mobile phone.
I mean, you can play Nintendo Switch on.
Yes, but the way I think about it is, it doesn't seem to be the console designed specifically for that.
Nah. I mean, the thing is, right, if I had... I'll just say, if I had money to burn, I would pick up a Nintendo Switch, right? For the sole reason, not for the portability or anything like that, just because, like, the exclusive games... Like, you know, I've been hankering to play another Legend of Zelda game, to be honest. Because the last console I had, I didn't buy a Wii U, but I had a Wii. And I quite enjoyed Twilight Princess.
Yeah, and the new Zelda got a proper
really
10
good
out
game.
of 10 on
Yeah.
GameSpot today.
And it does look pretty good. But, I mean, the thing is, I don't have money to burn. So it's just not looking likely that I'm going to pick up a Switch.
Yeah.
But so if you were looking for reviews of Switch games on this podcast, it's probably not going to happen.
Unless you send us money.
Yeah, well, that's it. If you want to
Yeah.
fund us,
Yeah.
we will definitely review some Nintendo Switch games. So if you're a millionaire and you want to give us some money, then...
We're open for...
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
even if you're poor and you want to give us some money, we'll take anything. We'll take anything.
No remorse. Absolutely.
Right, so that's the end of the episode then. We will give out our internets. I don't know why I keep going to this page because I know this off by heart already.
I think you could try it. You can try without it. Yeah.
Our email address is firstplayertoken@gmail.com, so that's FIRST player token. We are on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we are on SoundCloud. All our episodes are on SoundCloud. You can find us on iTunes and subscribe there. We have a YouTube channel which we upload various videos to every so often. We've got board game streams. I put all my video game streams and stuff on there, and we've got various other things. My Twitch username is Unnecessary Chris. Sorry, I should have said that our Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, it's all First Player Token or the large and unnecessary First Player Token. The only exception being our Twitter, which is at 1STPlayerToken.
Once player.
Oh, Pawel's taking the Euan's role. We don't need him anymore.
I don't think we do, yeah.
And we are part of the Podnose network.
Oh no, we're gonna need Euan for that.
Well, this is usually where Euan puts on his radio voice and tells us all about what Podnose is.
He's quite knowledgeable about it, whereas I'm not.
Now, if I remember correctly, the Podnose network
world's leading...
It's the UK's leading podcast entertainment network, I
believe.
So.
Yeah, I think Euan would be proud of you.
Network. So, I can't remember how they describe it, but yeah, it's a network of podcasts which is, run by one guy who puts us all together in one website, and you can listen to anything there. And there's a lot of interesting stuff on it. There's one about films, there's a podcast about podcasts, all kinds of things. And we've got some new ones on board as well this year. So yeah, go and check them out. That's www.podnose.com.
Awesome stuff.
And we also have a Discord if you would like to come and join in the chat, which at the moment is me talking to myself.
I don't even know what Discord is.
It's because you're old.
Oh, okay.
Just ask us for the link and we will send it on to you. I mean, I'm old as well. I had to go and learn about this. Like, what is this Discord thing?
It's fine.
I'm starting to feel like my dad using a computer now. It's getting a bit... it's starting to get old now.
Yeah, give us another 30 episodes and this podcast is going to change.
Podcast will be a dead format in 30 episodes' time that we won't have noticed. Okay, so we will be back next week with episode 42, which will be a board games episode.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a board game to actually review.
Oh, yeah? You do. And we have been playing Gloomhaven, so we will give an update on how our Gloomhaven campaign is going.
I shall be talking about Endure the Stars.
Excellent. A nice little preview there.
Yeah.
So we will see you next week. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.